To dive into this with me are Leonie Hermantin, who is the director of Sant Haitian Neighborhood Center in Miami, and Garry Pierre-Pierre, the founder and publisher of the Haitian Times. I'm glad you guys are here with us to have this conversation, and I wish we weren't having it. I got to tell you that these whipping scenes are giving me slave era vibes. It's brutal, it's downright infuriating, and I just wanted to know, what are your reactions?
There are no words.
Go ahead,
there
Leonie.
are really no words.
Yeah.
There are no words, really. It again, as you say, as a Haitian American, and as one who's been here since the age of 12, and who's very cognizant, aware of what happened in the United States, it's very jolting, you know, to see into 2021. Be reminded of what African Americans endured during the times of enslavement. So it was a very, you know, I almost had to go back to poetry. You know, I read Claude McKay just to sort of channel what I was feeling. It's difficult.
Garry, jump in here. Yeah, Garry, what are you saying? What are you feeling?
As a reporter, you're never out of words, but this time, like Leonie, I was speechless because I couldn't believe what I was watching. But at the same time, Aisha, we must say that the Border Patrol has a long record of such, you know, behavior. I mean, we remember the kids in the cages and all these other things when the Central Americans were trying to come over here. And so, you know, this agency, you know, we need to take a hard look at it because it's sort of like out there in the hinterlands and the Border Patrol, and we don't come in contact with them every day. But, you know, they are doing some pretty bad things. This one, we just happen to have, there have been journalists on the ground to capture the image. Imagine what happens when there are no journalists, no photographers on the ground chronicling what's happening.
And you know,
Exactly,
Aisha,
exactly. And go ahead.
it's almost like history repeating itself for us, because remember that, you know, there was an American occupation in Haiti where they sent in the 1915s, they sent Southern Marines, Jim Crow Marines, to occupy a black country. And I can tell you that, you know, the same level of atrocities, if not worse, were committed by those Marines. So it's a deja vu for us.
Oh, the deja vu. You know, so much of what we're hearing in the analysis about this, what's going on as we just kind of gawk at how horrific these pictures are, is oh my God, it looks like the Biden administration is the same as the Trump administration, and our immigration policies, you know, one and the same. I can say that, you know, we can talk about that. We can compare and contrast the administration's policies all day long. But right now, as Garry started to mention, it seems to me that Joe Biden's got a really serious HR problem on his hands. These agents are covering a 2,000-mile-long border, and they are running rogue. Somebody, in fact, I got a name here for you. John Anvinson is a Border Patrol agent who is the president of the National Union's Del Rio chapter. He's down there. And the boss of all these folks is Raul Ortiz, the Border Patrol chief, who just became the head of CBP on August 15th. And he actually he said yesterday that he deployed the horse-mounted agents and that they didn't actually have whips, because, you know, what we're seeing with our own eyes. They didn't have whips. Those were actually reins, but they were using the reins as whips. And they're weaponizing, you know, against these immigrants. And so as I listen to this and I think about this, I'm wondering, these agents have jobs. They have pensions. They work for Border Patrol. This, to me, is a real deep, nasty cultural issue that's happening with border police that no speech out of Washington is going to change tomorrow. I would love your thoughts about that, Garry, as someone who's been covering border police for some time.
Well, certainly, and the irony of it is that Biden has been really, in my opinion, really friendly to the Haitian cause. You know, he extended TPS, as Leonie knows very well, and that was a good thing. And he extended it for a second time because after the earthquake, he decided, well, you know what, we're going to extend that for when people who came here, you know, before the earthquake. And so, in many ways, the strategy, the policy backfired on him. because I think what happened is a lot of unsavory characters along the border who are, human traffickers convinced thousands of people that if they got here, they would let them in. I mean, that was the idea. And then I think what happened, they kind of panicked. They're looking at 2024, and they don't want the Republicans to have red meat to pounce on, and they try to act tough. In the process, it became what we're talking about tonight, that this is next level stuff. As we know that this country has a racist history, but we are in 2021. We're just still dealing with Black Lives Matter, and yet this is what we're seeing. And so I think the administration has some work to do. You're absolutely right. He does have an HR problem, and they need to deal with that immediately, because this is not going to end. We saw it again with the Latin American immigrants, and we're seeing it with the Haitians, and there are Africans who are making the same journey, by the way. And so if there were to be an influx of Africans trying to come in, I'm afraid that we might see similarly shocking photos emerging from something like that.
So, Leonie, we always want to jump to the politicizing of what we see right in front of our eyes, which really frustrates me because I think it dehumanizes the actual people who are caught up in the consequences of our bad immigration policies. Talk to us about who these Haitian refugees are. This is not a group of people who just showed up yesterday and all of a sudden are being ejected. In fact, many of these people haven't even lived at home in Haiti for a decade. So who are these migrants, and tell us why they're coming?
Well, there have been different waves of migration. Some have lived in Chile and Brazil for 10 years. Some are just new arrivals. They've been there for the past 3 years, fleeing the horrible conditions that Haiti, the horrible chaos that Haiti has become. So it's a mix. But these folks are young. I remember seeing them at the airport in Port-au-Prince in 2011, 2012, babies, leaving a country that was, again, at the throes of the reconstruction, post-earthquake reconstruction, a country that had beset with political problems, succession, where Hillary Clinton had to intervene to select Michel Martelly as the next president. And so they left during that period. They went to Brazil because remember, Brazil had a large, was preparing for the Olympics. So Brazil really needed a labor force. They went to Chile, where under Dr. Michelle Bachelet, Chile had basically opened its doors to Haitian refugees. And so, it was a scenario where they were welcomed by these countries because it meant that they would be part of the labor force, a labor force that they needed, particularly Brazil. And
well, you remind us that the migration patterns of people are surely, wrapped up in the need to work and to earn. And so, in the wake of this crisis we're facing, of where we are with the pandemic, with the various earthquakes that have been experienced, there's just so much economic tragedy that is at the core of this that we need to figure out how to deal with. Leonie, Hermantin, and Garry, Pierre-Pierre, thank you so much for joining us.